Have I made a massive mistake buying a 42-year-old motorcycle? I need to get up and running. I need to ride on it. Summer is close. So as you can see, I've bought the Honda Superdream 250cc. It's an old bike, 1979, and it needs a bit of work, a lot of work to get back up and running. You're going to follow me through the journey where we're going to look at getting it back on the road. So what we'll do is we'll have a look at the start of this process and how it works out. So when you're buying a motorcycle, especially if it's an old one, you need to be very vigilant. Luckily, the person I brought it from has a good reputation and we know where we stand with each other. So here is the bike itself. We're doing the main checks here. So what you'll notice is I'm doing movement of the head there. So there's going to be official terms for these, but I'm going to call them what I call them in my ghetto speak, as you would say. So I'm checking a number of things there. Just with that movement, I've checked the front suspension, I've checked the front wheel bearings, I've checked the head. I'm also seeing if it's got a good bounce back, seeing if we've got good maneuverability with the stem and if there's any movement at all. If there's something is off, you'll feel it instantly. So we can see it's nicely doing what it needs to do, and it's got enough play there. So it actually, as it is, would ride very nicely. I'm checking all the main features here, looking at the calipers, looking at the disc, feeling if there's any indentations or how much thread I've got on the disc. Fairly cheap and inexpensive for a bike like this. But the main thing I'm showing you here is how you want to look at your bike. Make sure you look at it past how nice it looks, because you'll be surprised. This bike looks very nice on camera, but there's loads of things that it actually needs doing. So it can be quite misconceptions in that way. So taking the plugs out, looking at the plugs, where possible, take some tools with you to have a look around the bike. I'm checking the headers from the engine as well as the oil and things like this. So this is my secondary check after my initial check when I brought it. So I'll show you a video about that when I actually brought it, and you'll see Awlays, how it came to me delivered, and where possible get the keys, try and start the bike up, have a look at how many keys it has. Do you have the same key for the ignition as you have for the fuel tap, and if there's any other accessories on the bike, like helmet locks, anything like that. Luckily I've got keys here. One is for starting and two is for the fuel and for the helmet lock. So there are two sets of keys here. I might change the barrels and just make one key if I need to, but it's not a massive worry at the moment. So you want to check inside the fuel tank, especially if it's an old motorcycle, and see if there's any rust or corrosion there. This is all things that will be advisable. Everybody has their own checks that they do. This is what I'm kind of sharing with you to help you, especially if you've got an old bike. So you'll know this is going to be an interesting project. I'm going to do quite a lot of this work myself, taking the seat off, looking underneath the seat, checking around the wheels, under the engine, bearings, anything you think can move can be fixable. It's just negotiating basically, because you will already have a good idea of how good the bike is from the description and the person you're buying it from. Here I'll take it off the center stand to check the back shock absorbers and see how well those do. But as you work around the bike, you can feel how the bike moves, and you know what, without the seat, that looks quite nice for a chop on the back and get rid of all the extra stuff. Interesting. I don't want to chop the bike up. I want to keep it as standard and just make it rideable. And the back suspension doesn't seem to bounce up very well, so I think the shocks need to be changed. The back wheel doesn't have much air in there. All these little things can mean the tire's got a hole in there, it needs a new tire, a number of things. How easy is it to get back onto the center stand? Are you comfortable with the bike? There's a number of things here. We're kind of checking the balancing, the tracking. Is the wheel straight? Is the chain straight? All these little things along the exhaust, the manifold. Will you need new silencers, back boxes? Let's recap what we need to do, and I'll make a list and take it from there. There's a few things I need to do. I've got some plates for it which I've ordered, so we're going to get those on. There's a few other things, so I'll walk you around what needs to happen, and over the series you'll see how it goes about. So firstly here we've got the fuel tank, we've got some dials we need to sort out, we've got mirrors like these, but we need to sort those mirrors out. I'm going to get new brake handles. We're going to do something with the seat. I do like this seat because it's old style. We're going to get some indicators. We've got really big indicators here. We don't like the big indicators. And as we move around, we've got the brake light, which does okay, but I might change that. It's going to have a historic number plate because it can have a black and silver number plate, and as well as that, the chromes look okay. I might get new forks for it. Overall, it's a big bike, and some people do say that they use the same engine in this as they use in the 400. If you want to stay tuned with how the progress of this goes, make sure you're subscribed to the channel because you'll get notifications, and that way you can see the full videos coming out and you can help me along the way, and we'll get through this together. So I'll see you on the next video.